Okay, we're live.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kinneret Gordon, and I am the Lead Research Community Officer on the WMF research team. Thank you for being here, and I would like to welcome you to this month's Research Showcase. Research Showcases are monthly convenings organized by our team to recognize and share recent research on or relevant to the Wikimedia project. For those of you joining live, we welcome you to ask questions of the speakers in the YouTube chat. We will monitor this channel and pass questions to the speakers at the end of their presentations. We kindly ask that attendees follow the friendly space policy and the Universal Code of Conduct. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. We would like to remind you that we launched this year's round of the Research Fund. The Research Fund provides support to individuals, groups, and organizations with interest in conducting research on or about Wikimedia projects. This application submission deadline for this year is December 15th, 2023. If you know someone or you yourself always wanted to get involved with Wikimedia research, this is a good way to do it. We also invite you to raise awareness and spread the word in your network. Isaac will now share the link to the meta page about this year's fund. The next announcement is that we would like to remind you that Wiki Workshop, the main forum bringing together researchers exploring all aspects of Wikimedia project, will be held virtually again this year as a standalone event on June 20th, 2024. More information will come in due time in regards to that. I'll now pass it over to my colleague Pablo, who will introduce this month's theme and speakers.
Thank you, Kinneret. So I'm Pablo Aragon, research scientist at the Wikimedia Foundation, and I'm glad to introduce the November 2023 Research Showcase. So a very important event happening this month in the Wikimedia movement is the GLAM Wiki 2023 conference that brings together cultural heritage professionals from galleries, libraries, archives, museums with the Wikimedia communities. And that's why that we have chosen for this month's showcase bibliometrics, the use of statistical methods, often by librarians and information scientists, to analyze publications, like especially in scientific content. In fact, it is because of this topic why this session is included in the program of the GLAM Wiki conference, and therefore we would like to welcome participants of the conference attending this showcase via YouTube. But why bibliometrics and Wikipedia? Well, a core content policy of Wikipedia is verifiability. That is, that all content in Wikipedia must be attributable to reliable published sources using citations. And for that reason, Wikipedia has been found to be an extraordinary resource for bibliometric studies. And this research showcase is bringing together two outstanding researchers who have analyzed the potential and some limitations of Wikipedia for bibliometric purposes. First, we will have a presentation by Wenceslao Arroyo Machado. He's a postdoctoral researcher at the Universidad de Granada. He holds a PhD in Information and Communication Technologies from the same university, specializing in altmetrics and big data issues. And much of his research focuses on studying science-society interactions through Wikipedia. And in his talk, he will cover his PhD research contextualizing the bibliographic references of Wikipedia. Then we will have Xiaoxin Ni, assistant professor at the Information School and co-director of the Meta Science Research Lab at University of Wisconsin-Madison. She's also an affiliate faculty member of the Data Science Institute, Hall Center for Science and Technology Studies, and Center for Demographic of Health and Aging. Her research is centered on science and scholarship, particularly focusing on the dynamics in the scientific workforce. And her talk will focus on gender and country biases in Wikipedia citations to scholarly publications. In addition to our speakers, the list of attendees in our today's session includes Wikimedia staff, Wikimedia Foundation staff, Francisco Navas, product manager at Wikimedia Enterprise, and Rory O'Donnell, senior software engineer, also in team of Wikimedia Enterprise. And as usual, members of the Wikimedia Foundation research team. So we will have, as usual, like 20 minutes talks, and after each talk, we'll have 10 minutes for discussions. We are happy to take your questions in the YouTube chat, and my colleague Isaac Johnson will monitor the chat and relay the questions during the Q&A. And with this, let's pass it into Wenceslao. So now it's time for you to share your screen.
Okay.
Thank you at first to the Wikimedia Foundation because it's very interesting to participate in these activities. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now, so let's talk about Wikipedia and what I have, my research I have conducted on Wikipedia related to bibliometrics. This at first, following the presentation of Pablo, I'm going to explain what is my context, because I am a postdoc researcher at the University of Granada, but my thesis was about data science, the use of data science to bridge the gap between social media and bibliometrics, because there are a lot of limitations in bibliometrics analysis that have been addressed using big data techniques and social and data science methodologies. So what we did in this thesis project was to exploit the possibilities, the potential of social media to capture the scientific attention from this social media perspective, and to conduct a bibliometrics analysis using this data. This was the so-called altmetrics, the use of alternative metrics to evaluate the research performance using, for example, the number of tweets that publication has been mentioned, the number of Wikipedia references that publication has been cited in Wikipedia articles. So using these novel methodologies and novel metrics, I approached the use of Wikipedia to study and understand how science is used and is consumed by Wikipedia, specifically by Wikipedia editors and also by Wikipedia users. So at this moment, I am also continuing this research on Wikipedia. I am analyzing Wikipedia because I find this social media very interesting and very prolific, and also it's an open source in all sense. We have all the data and all the features of articles, all the relation, all the history of editions in Wikipedia, and all this data is very useful to conduct a lot of research. So at first, why is Wikipedia used for bibliometric analysis? At first, when I was studying in my early days as PhD student at Wikipedia, the approach of, to conduct this study was only to use the number of mentions that a publication has been cited in Wikipedia. So if you have a paper that has been cited 2 times in Wikipedia, and you have a paper that has been cited in Wikipedia 5 times, you have you can conduct a comparison like bibliometric analysis with scientific papers. So the bibliometric community has shown a greater interest in this social media platform because 3 reasons. I think that these are the main interesting reasons. The first one, because Wikipedia is open source. So you don't need to pay, and you have access all the data for free. The second one is because you can obtain the social construction of knowledge and compare this perspective, the social perspective, with the academic perspective. You can, for example, map the knowledge structure of Wikipedia using the references to scientific publication, and compare this map with the map that you can obtain, for example, using a scientific paper in Web Science, Scopus, or OpenAlex. And the third one, and this is very interesting, the most significant interest in this platform is because the comparison between Wikipedia article references with Wikipedia with scientific articles with Wikipedia articles are pretty similar. You have a paper that includes a citation to scientific references, and you have a list of references of this paper, and this is the same in Wikipedia and scientific papers. So this phenomenon of citation and scientific references are pretty similar, and this is very easy to adopt or conduct classic bibliometric analysis using these new references in Wikipedia. However, at first, when we was conducting this research, we questioned this. we notice that maybe are not really related, the scientific papers with Wikipedia articles. So we established a comparison between the Wikipedia pages and the scientific publication. We found that there are a lot of similarities. For example, you have titles, you have categories or keywords, you have structured text, you have review. In Wikipedia, for example, you have an open review with the talk pages, and with scientific papers, you have peer review, the peer review system. Maybe it's open or it's closed, but you have also the peer review. But there are some important and very disturbing differences between Wikipedia articles and scientific papers. The first one is that Wikipedia is a live platform, and whereas scientific paper are statistics. This is very noticeable when you translate the citation analysis to Wikipedia. The citation analysis is the most classic methodology to conduct a bibliometrics analysis. The relationship established between one document that cites another is the basis for perform a lot of analysis. For example, you can establish a consultation map. You can map the knowledge structure using the keyword. You can conduct a lot of research using only this citation connection between two documents. Also, you can aggregate this relation and to establish the connection between authors, institutions, countries, departments, and other kind of entities based on the relationship established between these two documents. But the main difference between Wikipedia and scientific articles are that scientific articles are static. So the references cannot cannot change. You have one paper that cites 5 papers in one book, and you can remove these references, and you cannot include new ones. However, in Wikipedia, this phenomenon is live and more complex because you have not only one Wikipedia article, you have also Wikipedia articles for all Wikipedia language editions. You have 300 Wikipedias. So for the same article, you maybe have 3 different articles that maybe not include the same references. Also, the references can be removed. You can include new ones. The editor can confrontate between each other to remove or to include new references. So the phenomenon is very, very different. However, using this relation, the relation between the Wikipedia article and the cited publication, there are a lot of research that has been provided useful to map the knowledge in Wikipedia. For example, it has been possible to analyze to obtain the map of the knowledge structure of Wikipedia using the consultation analysis of the heterogeneous coupling. Also, has been possible to study the coverage. For example, you can say how many publications have been cited in Wikipedia about COVID-19, and you can check the coverage with regard to the main bibliographic databases. And also, you can perform rank analysis to establish a ranking of papers, journals, or other entities. However, this is the classic perspective, but there are a lot of evidence, a lot of metrics that you can include from Wikipedia to contextualize this activity, the citation to publication from Wikipedia. So this is an example. You have an article. This is the classic perspective, how the way that bibliometric analysis have been conducted until now. So you have a Wikipedia article, the content and the characteristic of features of the article is not important. You don't know what is the article. You only know that in one specific Wikipedia pages is citing a scientific publication. So the analysis is only focused in this part of the Wikipedia and the references of scientific publication. However, there are a lot of kind of features and relationships in this page that can be used to contextualize these references. For example, in this case, you have that this page is the article of COVID-19. So this is a health issue topic. So as is scientific related, it is also interesting to know that you have a publication cited in scientific content or not scientific content related in Wikipedia. The page has also a discussion page where the Wikipedians can discuss about the topic and the context of this article. You have also context links to other Wikipedia articles. You can use metrics like the length of the article or the daily views. For example, this is very interesting because you have that for each Wikipedia article, you can track the attention, the social attention, using the page views, the number of views that this article have engaged for all time. For all time, not it's since 2015 for these 8 years. But it's also useful to identify what are the most interesting or the articles that capture more attention from the society. So all this kind of metric and other one is what we propose to use to contextualize the references, not only to know that it's a Wikipedia article, but what are the features and what are the attention that this Wikipedia article are capturing. So what we did in this was to identify the most interesting metrics and classify this metric by dimensions. For example, we have the number of Wikipedians, the editors that have edited this article, and this is a metric of activity. We have also the outreach metric, the number of views that this Wikipedia article has. Also, the number of discussions, how old is this article, the number of references, and the number of publications, scientific publications that have been referenced in this specific article. And with all this data, we can establish a more precise analysis of the citation in Wikipedia, because we can provide a lot of context. Is this article interesting because it has a lot of views? This article is interesting because the content is very extensive, or this content is not really extensive, it's only a brief article in Wikipedia. All this information counts, and we can take advantage of this metric to provide a full picture of the citation phenomenon. And also, we are not focusing only on traditional bibliometrics analysis. These analyses are also useful, but there are a lot of potential in Wikipedia that has not been explored until that moment. Also, you have in Wikipedia, in the English Wikipedia, because all Wikipedia are different. So for example, in the English Wikipedia, you have a classification system in which you can identify what are the most developed articles, because the length, the number of references, and the content itself is good. So you can establish a classification, and you can use this information to identify if your article of your papers has been cited in the so-called good articles in Wikipedia, or they are cited in minor articles. So this is also one of the possibilities. So what we proposed in this research was what we proposed was the use of this metric, and we also develop a open knowledge graph. We process all the data of Wikipedia. We use all the Wikipedia dams. We also use the dataset of Wikipedia references to scientific publications, and we match all the data and process all the data to obtain a Wikipedia knowledge graph that can be used to perform this kind of analysis. You have the scientific papers that have been cited in specific articles in the English Wikipedia, and you can use also all the metrics that these articles has like the age, the length, the number of daily views, the relationship between all articles or the categories of these articles, to provide more developed context, or more context to this citation. This is for free, are available at Zenodo. So if you want, you can use this data set. But also we analyze and we take advantage of all this data. For example, when we analyze all Wikipedia English articles by this level of development of the Wikipedia article, what we find is that the publication, the scientific publications that add references in Wikipedia are very good proxy for identify the quality of the article. The main, for example, the future article, this is the best article of the English Wikipedia, are the articles that include, on average, more references, publication, citation to scientific publication in the references. It's not the same, for example, to articles that have not been developed, like the STARF or C-class of articles. So this is also a new kind of bibliometric analysis using or taking advantage of all this data. Also, using this novel approach, the contextualization of references, using all the data that Wikipedia offers about the content and the articles, it's possible to formulate new research questions and perform a broader bibliometric studies. We are not now limited to use the classic bibliometric method like citation analysis or rankings, or compare the coverage like the earlier studies in Wikipedia, but we can go beyond and perform a different and more novel analysis. This is the case of this other research in which we compare the academic performance of universities and the engagement in Wikipedia. We established the question: if the hypothesis, if a university has a good research performance, it publishes a lot of papers, the papers have a lot of citation, it has a good collaboration, the papers has published in the best journals using the journal citation report. This university has also a lot of attention in Wikipedia. The Wikipedia page views are also greater than the impact in academia. So using this data, we perform this analysis and we establish that there is a relation between the impact of universities and the attention, the number of page views that this university capture in Wikipedia in the respective articles. We use the Wikipedia article of University of Granada, for example, and we confront the Wikipedia metrics to the bibliometrics of this university. And what we found here is that there is not a brief relationship between impact and social attention in Wikipedia, but there are also more factors. For example, there is a local component in the Wikipedia because you have a lot of Wikipedia, and for example, the page views in the English Wikipedia is not the same for the University of Granada in Spain that the views from the Spanish Wikipedia. And this kind of differences and the similarities between Wikipedia and academia is one of the possibilities using this new approach of Wikipedia. The second one, and this is an ongoing research, is the comparison between the research production and the social attention. So in this case, what we established was a relationship between scientific papers using the concept of open analysis, because the concept of open analysis comes from Wikidata, and we established a connection between the concept and the papers with the respective Wikipedia articles. And using this approach and performing this analysis, we can obtain a visualization like this, and we can observe if the productivity or the attention in academia in numbers in publication count is the same that the views that these topics gather from the views in Wikipedia. As I said before, this is an ongoing research, but it's also other kind of approach that you can use by using this new kind of metrics or unexplored metrics in the context of bibliometry. So to conclude, I'm going to formulate some major challenges in this approach, in this analysis, because Wikipedia offers a lot of data to perform this analysis. All the data that you can see in Wikipedia articles is available to download using the Wikipedia DAMs or the API, but it's also for free, all the data. But there are three major challenges. The first one is that if you are approach this analysis in broader scope, if you want to analyze all Wikipedia references, you need to process a lot of data, and this is computer expensive. Also, there is a lack of standardization of references. If you want to identify the publication that has been cited in different articles, maybe the references is not the same, or they don't include the same bibliographic fields, metadata. So you need to process all the data because there are not a good standardization. This is classic topics in bibliometrics analysis using Wikipedia, but also it's important to know. And finally, also this is very important. There are no rules in Wikipedia. I say this because if you are using Wikipedia English, the English Wikipedia or the Spanish Wikipedia, French Wikipedia, each Wikipedia is pretty different from the others. So, for example, the rules or the contents of the way that Wikipedia manage the information in Wikipedia is different. So you maybe can take advantage of all these differences to capture the local particularities of all these Wikipedia. And this is very important to identify major differences and to analyze specifically the social attention, because you don't have also the international attention using the English Wikipedia, but you can also use the Spanish Wikipedia, for example, to see if the people from Spain and South America have the same topics of interest or are interested in different topics, and this is very important. So that's all. I hope that you enjoy this presentation. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Francisco. I'm Francisco. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm the product manager for content integrity for enterprise. This is awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for Pablo also for bringing me in, and Rory, who's on my team here. This is exactly the kind of research and work that I really need people to be doing for the sake of my product. So I highly appreciate it. I put some questions in the chat. You can answer them now, or maybe we can go to email even. I don't know how much time we have, but I don't want to take up all the time. Pablo, you please stop me. But yeah, I just wanted to say fantastic work. If there's one question that I hope you can answer it now is, you did this for English only, and if so, it's just so much data. How did you process all this data? Do you have did you use a cheat code? How did you do this?
Yeah, there are different research. For example, to the open knowledge graph of Wikipedia, we only use the English Wikipedia. We retrieve all the data from Wikipedia dumps. There are a lot of data only for the English Wikipedia. But then when we, for example, conduct the analysis of the universities, in this case, as we have a specific list of Wikipedia articles, there are 1,000 of Wikipedia articles of university. We retrieve all the data from Wikipedia API, so it's not too expensive or not too much effort to do it using this approach. But there are a lot of challenges using this data and processing all the data.
Okay, yeah, I imagined. Okay, that I'll give my time, but I put some questions there. If you would like to email, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Well, first, yeah, thank you, Wenceslao, for the presentation. Thank you, Francisco, for sharing questions to our first speaker. I don't know if there are more questions in the room. There are several by Francisco. I have also my questions, but I want to give a space to others, and that also include our second speaker. I love when the speakers interact among themselves. So please feel welcome to raise your hand. If not, I will share my first question. Well, I'll say thank you for your presentation. Like most of the features that you presented, they were language agnostic, and this is something I really appreciate. Like in our team, like Isaac has been leading work on doing a language agnostic representation of articles, and that have given us like a lot of opportunities for doing topic classification, topic prediction, reverse prediction in many cases, and this is another example. And actually, you presented a slide with results with multiple language edition of Wikipedia, but I did not get the message. Like, could you summarize like some differences that you find when doing bibliometric studies across different language editions?
Okay, I can share the screen because I don't remember the slide. Okay. Do you refer this?
I understood this was about countries, but there was a previous one that was about different language editions of Wikipedia. That one. Could be?
Yeah.
Maybe they refer to the same paper.
So the question is how I aggregate the information, or?
No, if you can summarize like significant differences that you observe when analyzing different language editions, like how they differ in terms of your research questions.
Yeah, there are a lot of differences. In data processing, there are not too much differences because the structuring of Wikipedia is the same for all the Wikipedias. So we can obtain the same information for all the Wikipedias. But the point here is that, for example, there are some differences. It's not the same the page view that Wikipedia articles can gather from with respect for Chinese or Spanish Wikipedia. So we need to normalize some metrics, like for example the views or the length of the article, because are not the same language, are not the same audience in Wikipedia. And by doing this, there are not too much challenge to merge all the data, and we can find a lot of differences. And this is as you say, very interesting, because for example we can see in this figure, for example, that the page view that, for example, Spanish universities gather from the Spanish Wikipedia is pretty different from the views of other universities that are not in the Anglo-Saxon sphere. So at a technical in technical there are not much differences or challenge, and the analysis can be very improved using these differences and using all this data. So also, if you want or you have any question and you need to know more about this, you can let me know, and I can provide you a lot of data, scripts, and all the methodology that has been used.
I think we have room yet for another question.
So we do one from YouTube then. So Lauren W. asked on YouTube, you stated that key findings reveal that Wikipedia is not just an information source, but a reflection of collective concerns, capturing significant trends and shifts in societal focus. And they're interested whether you have any examples of such trends and how they're reflected in the data that you're analyzing.
Sorry, I cannot hear you well.
I will just copy it into our chat so you can see that. I think that'll be easier. But the question was around societal trends and how they show up in the reference data that you were analyzing.
Yeah, this is this topic, the significant trends and the shift in social focus. We find this insight because when we analyze in the first research, when we obtain the daily page views of articles, we find that, for example, we focus only on one specific month, we find that the most relevant or the articles that have more attention from society are the articles that are related to society topics. For example, if we focus today in the articles that have gathered more attention, these articles are the hot topics on society, and also is a good reflection of the society. For example, you have a specific phenomenon today, the article of this topic or article related to this topic are gathered a lot of attention, a lot of views, a lot of edits. Maybe you have also a negative phenomenon like a work of Wikipedians. And this kind of phenomenon, the attention from a specific social phenomenon, is very interesting because you can use all the data, for example, the number of edits or the daily page view, to model the social attention from the perspective of Wikipedia. This is also very different from other social media because, for example, if you use Twitter or X, as you prefer now, Twitter is a social media that depends on a company. This is a different problem, but also this platform is not open. You need to be logging in this platform, or not all people can use the Twitter. But in the case of Wikipedia, if you use Google, Bing, or other search engine, you search for some topic, for example, the last news in the news story, and the first result maybe is the Wikipedia article, and maybe you can go to this topic and read this article. So all this conclude in this information. When you manage all this data, you can use to model social attention in a very precise way. Also, there are a lot of research, for example, that can have used to model, for example, the flu phenomenon. For example, you can study if there is more people infected in flu because there are a lot of people visiting this article, and there are this kind of application in other topics like it's not bibliometric.
Thank you very much, Wenceslao. Actually, Isaac has just pasted other two questions by Francisco in the YouTube chat, so I invite you to answer them in the YouTube chat, so also every attendee can be aware of both the questions and the answers. So with that, I would like to thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
And let's go with our second speaker, Shershin. The time is yours.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the Wikimedia Foundation for this kind of activity.
All right, can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. Oops, let me start with this one. All right, perfect. Okay. So let me first thank you for this opportunity to talk about my research here. So I am not going to, I really appreciate Wenceslao's study on assessing the resource, Wikipedia resource for a lot of biometric studies. So I'm going to shift the topic a little bit, just talking about the studies that I built on the incredible data set that has already been built by Wikipedia. So what I will talk about today is our research that looks into potential gender and country biases in Wikipedia citations to scholarly publications. So before I start to talk about this research, you might be wondering, why do we care, right? Why do we care about some of the potential biases in Wikipedia citations to scholarly publications, to scientific publications? Why it matters? Why do I care, right? So, you all work or you know Wikipedia more than I do, so I don't think I need to reiterate anything about Wikipedia's widespread impact anymore. But I wanted to emphasize that Wikipedia has been widely used by the public and professional society for a lot of different reasons, like health and legal information, right? For K-12 education and for patenting and even for research. So Wikipedia has significant power in terms of representing and disseminating knowledge to the public. So as some of you just mentioned in the introduction parts, so Wikipedia's, authoritativeness or authority, right? Overall, over the source is primarily built upon its performative behavior of citing credible sources. And including those credible sources are scholarly publications or scientific articles that we researchers write, right? So with its worldwide impact, social impact, and broad audience that Wikipedia brings in, Wikipedia also acts as, therefore, a platform for continuing and dispersing scientific discoveries from academia to the public domain, right? So, for example, in this case, so ensuring, I think Wikipedia cites scholarly publications based on the quality and the relevance, but not some intrinsic factors such as social demographic status of the author or the paper themselves attached, is critical to the impartiality of knowledge dissemination and the fair recognition of contributions by scholars. So in the meantime, for like Wikipedia cites articles, right? So for scientists, Wikipedia citations to their work actually matters a lot. So for scholarly publications, being cited by Wikipedia means acknowledgement of authors' work that adds to what we call in the science ecosystem as symbolic capital, right? So what Westlaw was talking about an altmetrics measure using Wikipedia for scholarly research, for academic research, right? It's a part of social impact. And there are a lot of studies also showing that the amount of Wikipedia citations that a researcher or a study or a researcher usually get is highly correlated with their academic citations, citation among papers, research papers, right? So Wikipedia also brings in a lot of visibility to different entities associated with research that are cited by some Wikipedia articles. And in the US, especially a lot of funding agencies like NIH and NSF, I know they strive to find alternative ways to evaluate the impact of research that they use public money to fund, right? So they are looking for impact beyond academic citations, like social impact, right? So this is part of the assessment, explicit or inexplicit, symbolic capital for research scientists. And then sometimes I think scientists of different groups just don't get their what I was just describing as citations or recognition on Wikipedia, what we call symbolic capitals. They are not equal treatment in the science reward system. So one noticeable difference is between scientists among different gender groups. So I've done a series of work on gender inequality in science. So being like a global gender disparity in science or gender difference in teaching evaluations, how parenthood contributes to academia, gender gaps in academia, as well as gendered nature of authorship. So among all these studies, one of the things that I found was that science has a really hard time keeping women. And this is not because of one single reason that I am investigating in this research. It's a collective and systematic barrier that is stopping women from advancing in their career and keeping them in the scientific workforce. So therefore, when I saw this data set, and I was wondering, given the essential impact that Wikipedia citation credits might have on scientists, women, not men, right, on their symbolic capital and in science ecosystem, I was wondering whether Wikipedia citations to scholarly publications themselves are gendered, because there are studies showing that Wikipedia's editor team are, especially the English Wikipedia, like more than 17% male, and it's like it has race disparity as well as gender disparities. So they do, which could have, if they do have some sort of consciousness or unconsciousness bias in selecting which resources to cite for Wikipedia articles, then they could have some consequences on some marginalized group like the woman, right, in the scientific workforce, because it's an unequal recognition of their contributions. So that brings to my research questions for this particular project. So I want to ask whether publications by women and by men are equally likely to be cited by Wikipedia articles. And because the gender equality and gender-related issues could be very country-specific, and we also noticed that among countries themselves, there are also biases in the scientific system in terms of certain scientists from certain countries are more likely to be recognized than the others. So we also ask the questions whether publications by authors of different country groups are equally likely to be cited by Wikipedia articles. So these are the two major questions that we're trying to ask in this particular research. So data, I used a data set that was passed by a study that were published on Qualitative Science of Science. That is about 6.1 million English Wikipedia articles, which has about 1.2 million research papers. And because I need to know the gender, and I also need to the gender of authors and the country of those authors for those articles that are cited by Wikipedia. So we did a lot of cleaning and restriction, and we also tried to restrict the data frame to be between 2015 and 2020. So we end up with using about 200K papers that were cited by different Wikipedia pages during this time frame. And for a lot of studies, a lot of analysis that I'm going to present, we focused on the first author and the last author of each article, because this is what we consider as key authorship. And a lot of analysis that you'll see later on is going to be based on two distinct groups of papers that I am going to talk about here. So we have a set of group that is called WikiCite group. These are the articles that are cited by Wikipedia. Because we want to know whether papers are cited more, papers by a certain demographic groups are cited more or not. So we also came up with a control group. So within the control group, we collected those articles that are not cited by Wikipedia, but they were published in the same journal. They are on the same topic. They are published in the same year. They share similar team size, and they have same OA status, being open access or not, having one single member on the author byline, or like 3,000 people on the author byline, right? So these all matters. So this is how we used to build a control group, so that we can know, we can more like infer whether this is a bias or it's just something that we reflect in the data set. So our findings are split into two different groups. We first look at gender bias, and then we further look at country-based biases. So for gender biases, we look at publications that are single author. There are small amount of single author publications. So we want to know if the gender of the author's paper has any relationship with the possibility of them being cited. So as you can see from the graph, we calculated what we call a relative distance. That is relative difference. That is the percentage of women or men in the WikiCite the treatment group minus the percentage of women and men in the control group, and divided by the control group. So the larger the relative distance, means the more skewness it is from, but more distance from the control group and treatment group. So as you can see, women in this case, overall, papers authored by women are less likely to be cited than expected. This is in control group, this is control group, and this is in the treatment WikiCite group. And we can see the variance. This is the size of those bubbles are proportional to the relative distance. As you can see, a woman's relative distance is very high, higher than men's. And we also looked at the particular gender difference issue in different country groups. This one is NAS, mean non-Anglosphere countries, and we also looked at Anglosphere country groups. So there are 5 countries in the Anglosphere country group, that is US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The rest of the world is in the non-Anglosphere country group. So we can see, this is overall, and if we compare this to, we can see the larger relative difference among the non-Anglosphere Anglosphere country groups than in the Anglosphere country groups. And then we ran some regression analysis, confirmed that publications by women are significantly less likely to be cited by Wikipedia than those by men in 3 different fields, the PSE, MCS, and SSH fields. Well, in the Anglosphere group, there's no significant difference that we can observe here. And then when it comes to multi-authored publications, right? Multi-author publications, because we look at both first author and a last author. So there are cases where both authors are, both first author and the last author of an article is woman. So this article is a woman article, a female article. And if both authors are male, then that's a male publication. And if first author and last author they're of different gender, we consider as different mixed gender articles. So we have 3 groups. And in the meantime, which also means that country classification is also 3 groups now, being in non-Anglosphere, Anglosphere, if both authors happen to be within the same area, same groups, and there are also publications where first author and last author, they are from different country groups that we are analyzing here. So what we can see is very clearly that women are cited less than expected overall, as we can see from this graph. But looking at the non-Anglosphere subgroup, we can see women are cited less than expected across all fields and across all author groups, like all 3 author groups. But within the Anglosphere group and the mixed-sphere group, we see some more mixed results. Some of the fields do show some preference for publications over women, but some of the fields do not. And then again, we also ran regression analysis to confirm, to test whether statistically this has any significance. So we found that publications by women are significantly less likely to be cited by Wikipedia than those by men across all fields that we are studying here, the 5 different fields. And publications in the mixed gender group are less likely to be cited by men. So adding a woman to the team, the key author team of paper, seems to suggest some sort of penalty if it were compared with both men being in the key authorship position of that paper. And so this is what we found in terms of gender bias. But like I said, we also looked at the country level, whether we see any biases, whether we see any preferences in Wikipedia citations to their articles, right? So this is again looking at all these publications with only single author. Very easy because only single author, one country attached to this author's profile, right? So what we are able to find is overwhelmingly that publications by non-Anglosphere authors are cited less than expected, right? And then among women, so papers, all the papers by women, we can see that non-Anglosphere authors are cited less than expected, right? And then among men, non-Anglosphere authors are also cited less than expected. So this is regardless of their gender group, non-Anglosphere authors are cited less, are less likely to be cited, I would say, by Wikipedia, even given the same topic, same journal, same year, same group size, which is one, and which is only one author in this case, and also same OA status, being open access or not. And this is our regression analysis trying to confirm, trying to see if statistically at large scale we can infer that trend. So what we found is overall citations by the non-Anglosphere authors are significantly less likely to be cited by Wikipedia than those by Anglosphere authors across every single field. But among papers by men, statistically, non-Anglosphere authors are facing more penalty than Anglosphere authors, while in the woman it's less so. It's only kind of prominent in 2 fields, that is life science, environmental science, and social science and humanities. And then moving to the multi-author publications again. So similar to the gender-based bias that we were talking about previously. So we also did whether the authors are all from Anglosphere or non-Anglosphere, or a mixed, which we call mixed sphere author. And we separate authors. Also, we also looked specifically at women subgroup, men subgroup, and mixed gender subgroup. So what we were able to find from this analysis, if you're more like number readers, you can just look at this somewhat heat map here. We can see that non-Anglosphere authors are cited less than expected across the spectrum, while it's so overall, and it's so across all gender groups, women, men, mixed gender. And this is our, again, regression analysis, as you can see, trying to see if it's statistically at a large scale, this observation that we made holds. So what we found is that non-Anglosphere authors, all mixed sphere authors, they are significantly less likely to be cited by Wikipedia than Anglosphere papers in most of the fields, right? Except for this life science and environmental science. And this is consistent across gender groups for most fields, except for a few things that we are not denoting significance here, like these don't have significance, this don't have significance, sorry, I'm pointing to the wrong screen. This does not have any significance, statistical significance in terms of differences. So, I mean, our analysis in this paper concludes that Wikipedia citations to articles is biased, because we were able to come up with a control group and a target, a treatment group, do the comparison, and we are seeing that the citation to scholarly articles is actually biased based upon the author's social demographic features. Right, so we can see that Wikipedia's citation bias, for example, in terms of gender, for example, research by women is favored less, to summarize across all the heat maps and all the scatter plots that I just showed, and it is consistent across various research fields, and more prominent in physical science and engineering, as well as mathematics and computer science, right? So this is in terms of gender. And we also found that scholarly publications by authors from non-Anglosphere countries are at a very distinct disadvantage in terms of being cited on Wikipedia as compared to those from Anglosphere countries. And this bias is evident from all research fields, right? And then there is also the intersectional bias between gender and country that we can observe from our analysis, and that intersectional analysis, that women scholars from non-Anglosphere countries are particularly underrepresented or disadvantaged in Wikipedia citations to their work. So to us, this is suggesting a very confound disadvantage based on both gender and geographic location, and it's a encouragement for women's participation in science globally, and it's also likely to be ignoring some of the research that was particularly done by women from certain geographic locations around the world to be fairly represented or equally distributed on Wikipedia. So I guess the findings, our research raises concerns about the equitable representation of scholarly work on Wikipedia, which is a key platform for knowledge dissemination across the world. But more importantly, this imbalance could perpetuate the existing inequality in academia, in science, and beyond, right? And given the raising kind of importance of getting Wikipedia citations in the current science ecosystem, right? Everyone wants you to get recognized to be on Twitter, to be on Wikipedia, to be on news media report, right? So this is this could have certain consequences for equity, gender equity in science and in academia. So I guess I think our research hopefully will be able to provide some implications and suggest that we as a scientific community and also hopefully Wikipedia should develop certain strategies to ensure fair and unbiased citation practices, thereby promoting gender equality and the inclusion of diverse geographical perspectives in science and disseminating knowledge impartially to the public. And so that's all. And I'd like to thank all my collaborators, my students, for their hard work on this. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Yoshi, for your presentation. I think there are several questions in the room, but there are also some questions from YouTube. So Isaac, please welcome to share them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start with one question from YouTube, and it's from Meg Walcott. And the question is, how did you define gender? And how did you then determine the gender of the cited authors?
Excellent question. So I've done a lot of work in the space of gender analysis. So we have developed a very very reliable algorithm to categorize, to perceive, or to estimate the gender of authors based on the names. So in this paper, the gender of authors, I'm trying to see, it's probably, let me see. The gender of authors in this paper was perceived using a set of algorithms that we developed since our publication, well, 10 years ago now, 10 years ago. So it was used that time, and we keep developing it and continue to use it. So basically, we use the different sources, mostly US Census data and some other country-specific resources with a list of names and the possibility of the gender that is associated with a particular name. So it's not sex, it's just a gender, perceived gender, and it's not 100% accurate, but we did a lot of effort. We put a lot of efforts into this algorithm and method and making sure that at a large scale, like what we are doing for this analysis, the gender classification is reflective. We did a lot of evaluation, but it's reflective of the true gender distribution of the workforce that we are looking at.
Yeah, thank you for those details. I think two things that you said really stood out to me. One was this being like not necessarily actual gender of the authors, but a perceived gender of the authors, which I think is interesting because, you know, if we think about mechanisms for citations, it's not a mechanism. I assume it's not a mechanism that has to do with the actual gender of the author. It's about probably how somebody who might be citing them is perceiving. And so I think that makes sense for this sort of large scale analysis, where that sort of tooling, I can see that being actually reflective of the mechanism that you're trying to study. And I think I'm going to open the space for other folks, but I do think then there's still some open questions about how can we broaden our definition of gender to be more inclusive of more categories, and how to kind of link that in with this work. But I'll pass it off to the room for other questions.
Yeah, but I'd like to, because you brought up the gender issue, but I'd like to spend a few seconds talking about this. So we acknowledge that we are unable to be more inclusive in terms of gender that is not binary, right? So for this particular study, we were unable to, but for some of the study that we are listing here, we were able to collect a lot of information about the percentage of non-binary among academia. For all the analysis we have done, we were unable to collect enough, like a sizable group for us to do any statistically meaningful analysis, even with non-binary classifications, right? So we have a woman and men and non-binary. We did a surveys and we did everything, but I think the largest size we were able to get is about 12 people with non-binary classification.
Thank you, Xiaoxin. So we have a few questions here in the room, like Tanya and Leila, they have raised their hands. Please unmute the that you prefer to share questions with our speaker.
Leila, are you a direct response?
I am, yes.
Please go ahead.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much for your presentation. I'm going to build on Megan's question and your response, and maybe ask you a question. How would you, and maybe I should preface and say, my own understanding of, studies that, anchor on the topic of gender has changed significantly over the past few years. I wonder if this type of study can be done in the future, looking into the pronouns that people use publicly instead of the gender, to alleviate some of the concern around the fact that gender is basically a self-expression, and people have a choice over what is gender, which can be what is their gender, which can be separate from their name.
I think that's a great idea, and I think using pronouns for gender identification is awesome. I would be concerned as though with the work that I do is how much the size of data and where we will be able to get a pronoun data from for a large scale analysis like this. But with this being said, one of the studies that I'm pointing out here, the gender difference in teaching evaluation data, that we analyzed whether students' evaluations to professors are based on the professor's gender, right? So we used a lot of pronouns that the students used in their comments to call those professors. They will call me like, her teaching is awful, right? She is great, right? So there's a lot of pronouns. And we actually use the pronouns to estimate the gender of individual professors, and used that to feed back to a lot of gender identification that we were doing, and found this to be like amazingly accurate, amazingly wonderful in terms of gender identification. But I get a point. I'd like to be able to kind of having everyone in their science CV or anywhere all kept trying to specify their pronouns on their publications, so which will be much easier for the work that I do, right? But like I said, I'm wondering how much we'll be able to accumulate for sizable data analysis like I do for my work. But I think that's a great way to go. And I think there could, I've seen some movements, at least at some institutions like my university, they ask everyone to put in their pronouns, right? But we'll see how that goes. But I think this is definitely one way to go in the future.
Thank you, Xiaoxin. Tanya, you go next.
Thank you so much for this. It is incredibly enlightening. I guess I just wanted to ask two questions about, well, one is is there any way to control for the amount of citations that an article had? Were they paired, or are they like too recent of articles to have had a number of citations within the regression?
You mean in our analysis? Do you mean the matching stage?
Yeah. So essentially, like, yes.
So we did not control one by one. We did not say you have to have a single match. We find all the matches, basically. We try to find all the matches. So as long as they match the criteria that we are talking about here. And in the regression analysis, we did weighted regression because of the potential different numbers of match each individual article cited by Wikipedia might get.
And just to specify,
Mhm.
citations within Wikipedia or citations like that could be searched through Google Scholar or something else?
No, so we have two groups here, right? So there are a group of articles that I was able to get from Wikipedia's data set that have been cited by Wikipedia as their reference. Because I want to know whether those citations got cited by Wikipedia based on certain bias or preference, right? So I take those citations, those cited articles out, and try to find within Web of Science their matched peers that are those articles who did not get cited by Wikipedia, but are published in the same journal, both on Nature, both on Science. Exact same topic. We have like 4,000 topic clusters. They are on the same topic. And they publish in the same time because for Wikipedia, timeless is one thing, right? So we control for time. And we also control for the team size in terms of like it's a collaborative work by 3,000 physicists or one paper by one information scientist, right? Team size matters in terms of the visibility and the influence of a particular paper. So we also control for team sizes. And then we also match based on OS status because there are some research saying that open access articles are more likely to be cited by Wikipedia. We just want to rule out all the possibilities that contributes to the fact that an article was cited by Wikipedia, but its peers are not. So with this levels of control, this group variables being controlled, we found what we think at least are close enough as a candidate for Wikipedia citation, but we're not cited. And we want to see, based on this, if country and gender plays a role in this case.
And I guess the second is like a more comment than a question. There's nothing you can answer here. But I almost wonder if men academics are more likely to self-cite within Wikipedia, possibly seeing a reason to, that it would actually get you more cited elsewhere or not, or maybe that women are not thinking about self-citing as much within Wikipedia articles, like to update because we do have a gender gap within editors as well. So just a question for thought, not an actual one we can answer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the asymmetrics among editor teams in Wikipedia is reflected in our citation patterns that we see here in this study. I think it's related. At least it's reflected. But I think if I remember correctly, I read some Wikipedia study articles about the editorship and everything. I think most of the Wikipedia editors, they are not necessarily in academia. And I think only, if I remember correctly, only 3% of Wikipedia editors are in academia, got their PhDs. Many of them they don't have PhDs. They're not frequent, they are not Wikipedia editors. Like I said, I don't know how many academias are actually editing their own Wikipedia pages. That's one thing. But the other thing that, as you were talking, that reminded me was that there was a study looking at all the biographies of people on Wikipedia, and there are overwhelmingly more men than women. And because Wikipedia, because it's their biography, if it's from academia, it's going to cite a lot of their previous work, talk about what they contributed, what Einstein did, what they published, right? So it's likely that the fact that there are more male biographies, so more their work being cited on Wikipedia, could be the case. But I don't have an estimate of how much the fact that a heavier share of men biography on Wikipedia contribute to the citation patterns that we're seeing here today. That could be an open question.
Okay, we're running a bit out of time. There are some questions in YouTube that I will recommend you to if it's possible, to answer them and to engage in the discussion. But also, I think there are questions from people who have not participated yet, like Beth. I think you raised your hand. If so, please your question.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hi, thank you so much for this presentation. So yeah, one question and then a related question. So for the analysis of the author country, did you use the country of origin of the author or the country of their affiliated institution?
It's the affiliated institution.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just wondering how it would change things if there was a analysis of the country of origin of the author.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a very difficult question to track, because countries of origin for individuals will be extremely hard to get at a large scale. So, but I think a lot of people, this is not like statistical study, any scientific studies, but a lot of times when people look at papers and trying to decide whether to cite them or to take a look at the author byline, the first thing look at their affiliations instead of, oh, where it's charging from Korea or from China or from Japan, right? It's less like, it's more like, oh, she's affiliated with University of Wisconsin-Madison, right? So it's more of an affiliation that is embedded in as part of the byline of a research article to me. So I think that's why that's another reason why we think we can use affiliation country instead of country of origin to identify to study the country-based bias. Yeah. But with this being said, there are also a lot of authors studies looking at more race-based studies and to see if there are any intersectional between race and gender. There are some studies out there, but not specifically looking at Wikipedia, but in terms of like all the biases and disparities among different race groups in academia, in the scientific workforce as a whole. Yeah.
Thank you. There are some questions on YouTube about methodological aspects, like, for instance, for the matching procedure, why not to include the number of citations of the stature of the author. But I would like to conclude with a final question, like, well, you have conducted several works on gender disparities and gaps in science and academia. Like, you presented here an example of Wikipedia, and we are Wikimedia Research Showcase, but you have also explored in other studies out of Wikipedia. In the Wikimedia Foundation research team, we have a program on knowledge gaps that we have been like building a taxonomy of different kind of gaps, like doing research to quantifying those gaps, but also creating tools or creating strategies to mitigate those gaps. So I would like to ask a final question, if from all the research that you have conducted, if you have like practical recommendations for the Wikimedia ecosystem, for editors, to mitigate the gaps that you have captured in this study.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it can be practical at the editor decision stage, but I think to me, what I'm trying to do is to show there is a potential bias in present, right? And then I think bringing the attention to the editors is important. It's the awareness that can finally turn into power. If they realize that when they I mean, a lot of times when they add the articles, they might be not aware of any kind of implicit unconsciousness bias against, okay, oh, this one is from Harvard, let's pick their work, right? Oh, this article is by, I don't know, which institution I never heard, some institution in China I never heard of. So let's pick Harvard, it's more credible, even if they were on exact same topic, published both in Nature, same year, OA status, right? So they probably they probably choose Harvard over an unknown institution in China, unknown to them institution in China, because not because they want to purposefully be biased against certain institutions, but it's the unconsciousness that's building. But I think what I'm hoping to achieve by this is we want to show them there is some gaps, there is some disparities, and I want them to be aware of, and they can think about when they look at articles, their decision on whether to cite this article or not is solely based on the relevance and the quality instead of some other factors. So hopefully yeah, I don't know what kind of rules that I can specify for them, but I hope awareness can be brought to them and they know what they're doing and they can realize something they can do from their end to change the world a bit.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah, awareness is the first step. So with that, I think it's time to wrap the session. Thank you very much again for your talk, and Kinneret, the floor is yours.
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. So thanks everyone for joining the Wikimedia Research Showcase today and the lively discussion. I especially want to thank our speakers, Wenceslao and Shashin, for their contributions. Also to our special guests that were here with us, Francisco and Ruri, as well as the entire research team, folks that came in and joined the discussion. The Wikimedia Research Showcase is made possible thanks to the coordination team with my colleagues, Pablo and Isaac. And Isaac was also managing the Q&A today, so thank you for that as well. We would also like to thank Kevin and Emerald for the support with the audio and video. Our next showcase on December 12th, which is a Tuesday, unlike most showcases on Wednesday, will be a panel on generative AI and Wikimedia. So we're looking forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.